Hey, Tammy, you there? I'm really sorry to have to do this over text, but I think we should cancel our wedding. I've fallen in love with your sister, and I want to marry her instead.
Wait, what? Rick, what in the world are you talking about? Are you serious about this?
Of course I am. I've never seen a more beautiful woman in all my life. I knew when I went over to your house to meet your parents that I had to make her mine. I mean, she was just so gorgeous. It really was love at first sight.
And what about the love that we've built between us after all this time? I know that my sister is a lovely, beautiful girl who is super popular and all, but you're not really going to leave me for her, are you?
I'm sorry, but I've already made up my mind, and I'm gonna marry your sister Tiffany instead. I think she's gonna make the perfect wife to brag about to my friends.
But I don't get it. So you really just want to call it all off just like that? Even after you've already met my family and everything, you're still going to leave me for my own sister?
I know that all this might come to a shock to you now, but you should know that she was the one that started coming on to me.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that after I got back from meeting your family, she started to text me. She told me that she wanted to marry me as well. Well, she begged me to leave you and choose her instead, and, well, obviously, I wasn't about to turn down such a lovely lady. Besides, the more I talked to her, the more I realized that she really is my type.
Hold on just a second here. You mean, she was the one who approached you?
That's right. I think it's most fair to say that we found each other, but whatever the case, the point is that we're going to be getting married. So I really just don't need you anymore. That's that.
I don't believe this is happening to me. To think that my own sister stole my fiancé from me. I mean, you literally only met my parents today. Are you telling me that you really decided all of this in less than a day?
Hey, you should just count yourself lucky that I bothered to say anything to you about it at all, really. So what if I marry your sister? She's beautiful, and I'm about to start my new position as a CFO for a huge company. I'm sure that your parents don't really care which of their daughters marries a rich guy like me, so I think it's perfect.
I don't even know what to say to that. You're just horrible, Rick.
Horrible or not, I'm gonna get away with this. After all, I'm my parents' only son, so they have to go along with whatever I want. And I'm sure if I tell them I found my true love, that they would never criticize me. Especially when they see just how much prettier your sister is than you.
That's not even what I'm talking about. How could you do this to someone else? Don't you realize how wrong this is? Do you really think that both our parents are going to go along with this?
Well, I just got a message from Tiffany telling me that your parents don't care. At all. If anything, they're happy that your sister and I are together since we make such a better looking couple.
How can this be happening? I don't even know what to think right now.
I know that your sister's excited to be marrying a handsome CFO like me, though. Sure, some people might talk behind our backs, but when they see just how good a couple Tiffany and I really are, everyone will realize why we had to be together. They'll realize that I could never have had a happy marriage with you, when your sister was right there this whole time.
That's a disgusting thing to say. I thought you cared about me.
I did until I didn't. Now I want to break up. I know that you thought I was going to be your free meal ticket, but we'll just have to find another guy to provide for you.
Hey, Tiffany, are you there? You better get back to me right now. I want to know why Rick just told me he was leaving me for you. Did you seriously flirt with my fiancé? I can't believe you would do this to me. Well, it isn't my fault that you brought back someone as handsome as Rick. You really can only blame yourself for all of this. Are you kidding me right now? Is this some kind of a game to you? Rick told me that he doesn't want to get married to me anymore. He told me that you changed his mind after he came over today. How could you do this to your own sister? How could you ruin my wedding like this? Well, you should know that Mom and Dad weren't angry about it at all. In fact, they told me they had always thought Rick and I would make a much better couple. But now I really have to hurry up and go find a dress and someone to do my makeup and all that kind of stuff. So you're really going to go through with all of this? Tammy, did you really think a guy like Rick wanted to marry you? Come on, you have beady little eyes, what can only be described as a 6 head, and have buck teeth. Did you really think that a girl that looks like you had a chance with a guy like Rick? You were practically begging for someone to come and take him from you. Why would you say all that about me? What is the matter with you, Tiffany? I'm sorry, but it's true. I'm the prettier sister out of the two of us, and I think people realized that ever since high school. I was the one dating all the athletes in our school. I'm the one who got regularly scouted by modeling agencies, so of course I would end up with a man as good-looking as me. Did you really think that an ugly little fatty like you could really ever hope to achieve the same? It was obvious you were just into Rick for his money. That isn't true. I wanted to marry Rick because I thought he loved me. I didn't care what his job was. Well, there you go. Now you're just proving that you don't know how the game is played. But of course, an ugly girl like you would have such a naive view of marriage. You just need to realize that you're outclassed by people like Rick and I, and you should know your place. Why are you talking to me like this? Isn't it enough that you stole my fiancé from me? Besides, do you have any idea how hard I try to look pretty when I go out? Well, that's just it. You could have all the makeup in the world, but there's no point in trying to doll up a pig like you. I don't care how hard you think you worked, it was all for naught. How dare you say that to me when every time I would buy makeup or something nice or an accessory, you would always steal it from me? I swear I have no idea what you're talking about in the slightest. Yes, you do. You would come into my room, insult me, and say that a girl like me doesn't deserve nice things. You always did that to me, so that's why I only started buying myself cheap products that I knew you wouldn't want to steal. Well, it's like I said, there was no point in you using anything nice anyways. It was just obvious that those things would be better suited on me. And you can't really be mad at me for reminding you of your place when you forgot it. Just like your engagement with Rick. You certainly do like to shoot for the stars, but that's not where little piggies like you belong. Tiffany, please, you really don't need to talk to me like that. You're being so cruel. Well, this is what you get for thinking you ever had a chance with a guy like Rick. Obviously, someone as handsome and successful as him could only be with a girl as pretty as me. Did you really think that with all the options in front of him to choose from, he was going to go with someone like you? I still don't get why he would want to be with you. Doesn't he realize what a mess you are upstairs? I may not be as pretty as you, but at least I don't have nearly as many issues, and at least I actually have a brain. And just what is that supposed to mean, huh? I mean that it's true, you were dating earlier than I was, but that's also because I was busy studying. Meanwhile, you would ditch class and stay out late over at boys' houses without mom and dad knowing. And just why would some beautiful person like me waste my time studying? I don't need to debase myself like that. If I wanted to succeed in life, all I have to do is find a rich man willing to marry me. So you're saying the difference between you and I is that I understand the value in working for what's mine? Do you really think that not studying was a smart move for you? I remember you falling asleep at your desk almost every night that I would be sneaking out to have fun. And thanks to that, I was able to go to one of the top universities in the country and land a job at an excelled firm. And now thanks to that, I'm already working in upper management and earning a ton. Do you know anyone else our age who can afford a condo like the one I live in? Even Rick's parents thought it was impressive. Oh, so you think that just because you worked hard to get a paying job that means anything? Well, I'm not going to play your little pity party. The only reason you need to work hard is because you could never do what I do. And just what even is it that you do? Well, I used my looks to steal your fiancé away from you, for one, so I suppose you should have been studying dating books instead. All it took was a little smile and some of my girlish charm, and now I'm getting married and you're not. You're really an idiot if you think you're going to get away with this, Tiffany. Well, I guess that means that you let yourself get beat by an idiot then, huh? You really are just pathetic. Do you know that? I have been trying all my life to help you learn how to know your place and live within your means. But for whatever reason, you always think you deserve more just because you work for it. Well, how did that turn out for you? Because I'm going to marry Rick and you're not. Well, fine then. You can have him. Wait, what? What do you mean? I mean that I'm actually happy. I never thought I was going to get to escape like this, but here we are. So good luck taking care of Rick and his parents. Take care of them? What are you even talking about right now? And why are you so happy that I stole your rich fiancé from you? You should be getting mad at me. I mean, now you're not going to get married, and I'm never going to have to work a day in my life. You think you're marrying a rich man, but you are dead wrong. So consider this my way of expressing pity for you. But the truth is that Rick is very, very poor. Poor? Tammy, literally what are you even saying? He's the CFO for a Fortune 500 company. There's no way that he's poor. That's impossible. I suppose all you needed to hear was that he was a CFO and you filled in all the blanks yourself. But Rick only works for his parents' company, whose best days were about 2 decades ago. Now the only thing the company has left to hold on to is its name. What are you saying? I don't understand what you're getting at. Well, I used to work for an investment firm, as you know, and while there, I was once shown Rick's family file, and, well, it wasn't good. They had been taking out loans repeatedly for years and haven't been able to pay them back. Sounds like the whole family is in a lot of trouble financially. Wait, no, this can't be right at all. This doesn't make any sense. If they're borrowing money, then are you trying to tell me that his family is in debt? That's right. And it's not just your typical business debt. They have run their finances deep into the red by this point. That can't be right. Well, it's true. Of course, many businesses take on some debt as startup capital, but this is much different than that. I don't understand. How could it get that bad for them? I thought that his family was rich. Well, apparently they got into some kind of trade war with another firm from a different country, and it was basically a race to the bottom for both of them. So they ended up making far less in sales and needed to take more loans to make up the difference. Are you kidding me? That's a terrible idea. I agree, and I was really shocked when I first heard that this was happening. In fact, Rick was just telling me this after he came to visit us at home. Well, he didn't tell me, but I happened to overhear him talking about this with his parents over the phone. I heard him talking about how even though I was ugly, I had the money they needed. He thought that I was going to use my income to take care of all his family. You mean that even his parents were in on this? That's right. I asked him if his family was having financial trouble, and that's when he came forward to me about all the debt. But I guess he didn't mention any of that to you when you two agreed to get married. But you should know that he's just looking for someone to leech off of. But I had no idea about any of the debt at all, I swear. Well, then you would better go and cancel your engagement to him now, don't you think? Hold on a second, this is all part of your plan, isn't it? You're trying to scare me away from being with Rick so that you can try and take him back from me. Well, you had me going for a while, I'll admit, but your trick isn't going to work on me. It's really not a trick, but whatever. It's your life and you can do what you want with it.
Tammy, you have to help me. I went to tell my parents that I was going to marry your sister, and they were furious with me. They called me an idiot for throwing away all the money you have just to marry your prettier sister, but I had no idea that all our finances were that bad.
Are you stupid or something? You are next in line to take over the family business, and you're telling me you had no idea how bad the situation really was?
I mean, I knew that we were in a little bit of trouble, but I figured it was nothing that I couldn't fix with a little hard work. I just thought my parents were being overdramatic about all this.
Wow, and you're literally the CFO of your parents' company. It is your job to handle all the financial matters.
I know, but is it really true that your sister never even went to college?
That's right. She was too busy sleeping around with all her boyfriends to care about studying at all. And I think with the job she has now, she barely brings in over $10,000 a year.
Her salary is that low.
I don't know if you call money from part-time jobs a salary, but yes, basically. My sister always told herself that working was beneath her and that she was just waiting for the right rich man to come and save her from having to do so.
But I was marrying her because I thought we could live off of her income for a while.
Wow. Well, it sounds to me like you both are more perfect for each other than either of you originally thought. Anyways, now that you and my sister both realize and we're not getting married anymore, I really don't see why I need to be involved in any more of this. You two are both awful people, and I'm glad that you've found each other. Now please leave me alone and never, ever talk to me again. In the end, it took them getting married for Tiffany to finally realize the mess that she had stepped into. About a week after their marriage, Rick officially took over his family's business and understood just how much debt they were all in. As rumors of the company's finances and poor management began to spread, more and more staff ended up quitting. And I hear that the company is really on its last legs these days. As for my sister, with no schooling or work experience, she began to work at a bar serving the kind of men she thought Rick was originally. As for Rick, he began his second job bagging groceries at a supermarket. I am sure that never in a million years did CFO Rick ever think he would be working two jobs like this. Both Rick and Tiffany thought that the other was just what they were looking for, and it turned out that it was just the opposite. All I know is that I'm glad I dodged that bullet and know enough about my family and Rick's to know that I never want anything to do with them again. As for me, I continued with my job and kept climbing the corporate ladder. I still have my nice condo where I live by myself as I ease my way back into the dating pool. After I cut off my sister, I began to buy the nice products that I had avoided in the past, and I already have a date lined up for next week. If I had known that all my life was missing was cutting out my sister from it, I would have done it a long time ago. Jane, I just wanted to say thank you again so much for the lovely cake that you got us. I was wondering what this good cooler bag that got delivered was about, and it was a lovely cake. So thanks again for the gift. We can't wait to enjoy it tonight. Hold on a second. What the heck are you talking about? You know that cake isn't for you to eat, don't you? I only sent that cake as a gift to my brother for getting a new job, so that means that he's the only one who should be eating it. Sorry, you mean that you sent the cake to our house, but it's actually only for John? That's right, and it's because he got a great new job at one of the largest companies in the world. Of course I expected nothing less of him. Sorry, what exactly are you talking about? Oh, come on, surely you know this. I mean, he's going to be getting paid $150,000 a year, and that's only the entry salary. I guess we can finally say that my brother has made it to the big leagues, huh? So anyways, that's why I, as his little sister, wanted to help him celebrate his huge accomplishment. So I worked really hard at my part-time job to save up and afford to get something from a nice bakery. Jane, I really don't know how to break this to you, but John is still unemployed. Wait a second, Mary. Are you seriously telling me you don't even know that your own husband has found a job? Has he not told you, or do you just not care about what goes on in his life? Honestly, you really should at least try to be a more caring and attentive wife, you know? Excuse me? And just what in the world is that supposed to mean? And the fact that you're keeping this charade up is just so disrespectful. You do realize that the reason my brother has been looking for a job so hard this past year is because you make so little, right? Well, I'm not going to pretend like I work for some fabulously huge company or anything like that. But I am in the upper management of my company, and I don't think my salary is all that small. I don't care how high up you get in your company, it's still nothing compared to what other, larger companies could offer. I bet that even after all this time working there, you're probably barely taking in $50,000. Actually, I make more than double that amount, thank you very much. In fact, I've been the one sending money back to your parents instead of John. Oh, please, you really think that I'm just going to fall for such a bold-faced lie like that? I know the truth, and you're through. I really don't know what you could possibly mean by that. I mean, I know that this whole time John has been looking for a job, that he's also been sending money back home through his personal savings. And even though he didn't have to keep sending it after he quit his job, he still kept it up the entire time. He really is such an amazing brother and a great son to our parents. I am so proud of him. Jane, you know that we've talked about this before. I'm not bragging about anything. The truth is that I was sending the money. I don't think that John has ever had any real savings to speak of. Wow, do you ever get sick of lying to people like that? How dare you even try to talk to me that way when you're so ugly? Okay, now you're just being ridiculous. Did you seriously just send that message? I just have no idea what my brother was thinking getting married to you. I just wish you two would get a divorce already. Then maybe he could move back in with all of us here at his real home. That's really what you want to happen to your brother and I? I don't really care at all what happens to you, but you better not touch that cake. I'm serious when I say it's only for my brother. If I find out that you had even a crumb, there will be consequences. Hey, John, are you there? What's this news I'm hearing about you finding a new job? Is that really true? Because this is the first that I'm hearing about it.
Wait, what? What are you talking about?
Well, it's just that your sister sent us a cake. She said it was to celebrate you landing a new job at some huge company somewhere. Is that really true? Because that would be really amazing if it were.
Oh, did Jane really go and do that for us?
Well, I just wanted to double check with you since you haven't mentioned anything about that to me. In fact, I thought you said that you were going to the temp agency again today to look for work, so what's the truth here?
I'm not going to lie to you, Mary. It's been a year since I quit my job, and I seriously don't think I can keep looking anymore. But I was getting sick of everyone asking me about the job hunt, so I just told Jane that I found something.
I see. And that's why Jane thought she had the right to talk down to me? Because she was really laying into me for not knowing that my husband had found a new job. Not only that, but she said that the whole reason you quit your job in the first place was because I wasn't making enough money. I was just curious if you had any idea where she might have gotten some of those notions.
Well, the thing is that I haven't actually told my family why I had to leave my last job, so I just kind of gave them a story I thought they would buy.
I see. Because even when I tried to explain to your sister that I was the one sending money back to them, she just accused me of lying. You know I really hate being called a liar when I'm telling the truth.
I know, but think about the position I'm in. If I get caught in this lie, things will get really bad for me. So please, I'm asking you as my wife to just hold off talking to anyone else about this, please.
I see. And when your family starts ordering me to leave you, should I just sit there and take that too?
What are you talking about? Who was saying that to you?
Well, it's what your sister said she wishes we would do. She wanted us to break up so that you could move back in with your family.
I see. You know, that's actually not such a terrible idea. Maybe I should just move back in with my parents.
Wait, what? You don't actually mean that, do you?
Well, I've actually been thinking about it for some time. I was thinking that it's been so hard to find a job that maybe we should just be apart until I do finally find something.
John, literally, what are you talking about? What does us living together have to do with you finding a job?
I just feel like I'm always under so much pressure to be finding work when I'm at home.
And do you think that that has anything to do with the fact that you haven't had a job in over a year?
That's not fair. I mean, I haven't had a job in over a year. I've been working full-time, and I haven't had a chance to spend any time with my family. I've been trying really hard just to find a job while you've been having a successful career. It's just really depressing for me to have to watch that happen while I get nothing.
I really don't understand you. When you quit your job, I agreed to support us both with my salary and help support your family as well. And now you're telling me that I'm the reason you can't find a job?
I'm just saying that living with you makes me feel like I have a ton of pressure on me to find something, you know? And it's like, no matter how hard I try, I know I'll never catch up to you, and it makes me feel even more pressured.
But you're telling me that if you go back and live with your parents that you'll be able to find a job?
I just think that I'd feel a lot better if there wasn't so much pressure for me to have to do so. Although, maybe we should try something new. How about you go back to live with your parents instead, and I stay here in the house?
Are you serious?
Of course I am. But you'll still have to send me money every month. I think maybe $1,500 a month should do it.
So you're now telling me that not only do I have to move out of the house, but I still have to send you money to support you?
Well, duh. You know that I don't have a job. You're the only one who makes money around here.
Well, if I go back to living with my parents, then I'm going to be supporting them instead so that I don't become a burden.
Oh, come on. Don't do that. I promise I really am going to try hard to find a job. Besides, you still need to keep sending money to my parents as well.
So you want me to keep sending them $1,000 a month and you $1,500? Do you really think I can afford that?
Oh, don't worry, I'll find a job right away, an even better one than I had before. Then we can go back to splitting all the costs.
I still don't see why I should have to go home to live. I mean, we have a guest house, why don't I just stay there?
What would even be the point of that? How could I bring chicks over if you're still around?
Excuse me, chicks? And just who are these chicks you're bringing around?
I just met some other women, I know who are looking for jobs as well. I've met some people at the temp agency who I've gotten close to, and we agreed to talk about our job hunts and share tips. You didn't think that I meant anything else than that, right?
Well, if that's all you're going to be doing with these chicks, I don't see why I can't just stay in the guest house. No, if you have no other objections, I'll move my stuff out there and agree not to tell anyone the truth about your job hunt. Hey, Mary, I thought my brother told you that he wanted you gone. Why don't you just go home? And how dare you not support my brother in his new job? Jane, what are you talking about right now? I am talking about John's new job. I knew that he asked you to leave him alone for a bit so he can concentrate on his new job. But you told him that you didn't want to because you didn't feel like it? Do you realize that working for such a huge company means that John is always under pressure? You need to give him the space he needs to work efficiently. What work is he even concentrating on? He wants me gone so that he can invite over other women. I don't see why I should go home and let that happen. Ugh, you are such a pain to deal with, do you know that? How dare you just ignore an order from your husband? I know that I was right to file your divorce papers myself. Divorce papers? What are you talking about now? Well, I saw my brother struggling, so I helped him out just a little. But now it's time for you to go back to where you came from. I've already set up everything. You two are divorced, and there's no reason for you to stay with my brother any longer. Are you really saying what I think you're saying right now? That's right. I really do outdo myself sometimes. And now that you are split up, you have no right to be living in that house with him, so just do as my brother commanded and go home. You're kidding me. You mean you just sent off our divorce papers without talking to either of us? I told you that I wish you two would just break up for a long time now. But I realized it wasn't going to happen without a little intervention. So I did what had to be done. I signed and sent off your divorce papers. I see. Well, good luck with your unemployed brother, then. What are you talking about? I'm tired of you all, and I don't care to explain, so I'm just going to pack up my things and go home. You should know that I did my best to encourage John to find a job, but now it's not my problem anymore. Wait, No, seriously. What are you talking about? What do you mean John is unemployed? He has a job. He's had one for a while now. He's working hard at a huge company, isn't he? No, that was just a lie he told you. Of course, you thought I was lying to you, but I was only ever being honest. What do you mean? How could he be lying to me? Well, he lied about finding a job. He hasn't had any work since he quit his last job over a year ago. But, wait, that can't be right. My brother would never, ever lie to me. I know that he found a job with a huge company and that he left his old job to be able to take care of all of us. He worked himself to the bone for the past year trying to get this position. You're forgetting that I also didn't make enough money for him. Of course, that's not really why he quit. He quit because he was being sued by a young woman from his office. Not just any young woman, but the daughter of the company president, in fact. One reason John hasn't been able to find any work is because he's basically been blacklisted from the industry by his last boss. And that's how things have been for the past year. Are you kidding me? That can't be right at all. There's no way that my brother would be fired for something like that. I refuse to believe it. Well, you can believe it or not, but you might want to check with John himself about this. Because it was then that I decided I wanted to divorce him, but he begged me not to leave him until he found a job. I even have footage filmed of him begging me not to leave him for his mistake. I can send the video to you, but you aren't going to like what you see. No, that's impossible. My brother wouldn't really do that. In fact, ever since then, I've been the one supporting both your brother and your family. John ordered that I take over paying your family since he didn't have any more income or savings. So then, you were telling the truth when you said that it was you sending the money to my family? That's what I was trying to tell you, but you just accused me of lying, remember? And your good-for-nothing brother told me that my presence was putting too much pressure on him to find a job. And now you're telling me that you've gone ahead and ended our marriage for us, so with that done, I don't see any reason to stay around here.
Mary, please, don't do this. Don't leave me.
I'm afraid it's too late to undo this. Besides, your sister was the one who divorced us. But at least you should have no problem finding a new job now.
No, I can't do it. Now my parents are going to start telling me to find a job, and it's never going to happen.
What do you mean? Do your parents know the truth?
Yes, I don't know how, but they found out the truth, and they're furious with me now. They told me they thought I was looking for a job this whole time. Then they demanded that I pay you back for all the money that you had been sending them, and finally they said they never wanted to see me again.
Oh, wow, that's even better than I thought. And here I was thinking that I would never get that money back. Make sure to tell your parents thanks for me.
Please, Mary, I need you now. I swear that I'll really start looking for a job, and I'll be back for everything. Just please, don't leave me. If I don't find a job, then my family is really going to stop talking to me.
And why is that my problem? You're my ex-husband, so leave me out of this.
Mary, you don't really mean that, do you?
Of course I do. I've been supporting you and your family for the past year while you've sat around doing nothing. Then you have the gall to lie to your family and tell them that I'm the reason you quit. On top of that, you let your sister get away with insulting me as a lazy liar while you let her believe you had found work. And then after all that, you really try and tell me that I'm the reason you couldn't find any work up until now? Well, I have had it with you and your family, and once this divorce is all over and done with, I never, ever want to see you again. After that, Jane began texting me desperately asking for money since I had stopped sending any to John's family. In the end, she barely managed to graduate college. She did end up finding a job, but it was at a very small company that was near the bottom of her list of places she'd like to work. I heard that even John managed to find a job, but had to bite the bullet and take over a 50% cut in pay. While living at home, his parents forced him to send part of his paycheck back to me to pay back all I had given them. When he sent me the final payment, he asked if I would think about getting back together with him. I just blocked his number and never talked to him again. After we divorced, I moved into a nice condo by myself and have been readjusting to single life. I've also finally been able to afford to send money to my own parents, who were glad to hear I got out of such a horrible marriage.